Welcome to the Wadcast podcast. I am your host, Eddie Ift, each and every week, every single week. I think this is episode 420. I give you 420 episodes of the most elite podcast in the world. It's the number one most elite, voted by the most elite people who think that this is the best, the greatest. I feel like Donald Trump right now. Anyways, the truth is, I do bring you a show every single week called the Wadcast. If this is your first time listening, what we do, we talk about, started in CrossFit. We still talk CrossFit a lot, but we also talk more about life. I try to make it entertaining because I'm hilarious. And that was being sarcastic. I have low self-esteem. I don't believe I'm hilarious. What we do is I try to give you an entertaining look at the world of obsessive exercising. Yeah, basically that's what it is. It's a world of OCD people that just work out constantly and then think they're better than everyone, like me. And I don't work out that much, but I still think I'm better than everybody. So this week I'm live from the bunker. Well, it's not a bunker, it's a lair. I'm up here at the mountain lair in Alabama, and it's good to be home. I'm enjoying it. My wife is not. Says something about our relationship, doesn't it? Well, here's the deal. This week I have an incredible guest. Before I get to him, I want to talk to you about some other things. We all need to take care of ourselves, right? And very, very important in these crazy, unprecedented times. That's the word that keeps being thrown around. Unprecedented. Well, prior to this, I was a big traveler. Now I'm just a survivor. And being in and out of airports, airplanes, public washrooms, restaurants, all of that can be pretty scary and worrisome. And trying to avoid flu, illness, colds, the norovirus, the rhinovirus. I just hate being sick. And now we've got COVID-19, the coronavirus. And there's always something. You never know. MERS, SARS, bird flu. It's always coming. And so there's a lot I already do to boost my immune system that I talk about a lot on this show. I really research it. I try hard to keep myself from getting sick. I sleep a lot. And there's another solution out there that you need to look into if you're interested in working on your immune system. And that solution can be probiotics. But the problem with probiotics is that they use big numbers like billions or like billions of colony-forming units to change your gut microbiome. But the research doesn't support this for all strains. In fact, studies show that many probiotics go through your system and don't do very much. Like you just take them and they go right back out. But recently I've discovered a secret weapon. It's a probiotic called P3OM. It's just one proven probiotic strain that's so effective it's been patented. It does better than any other strain in fighting the bad guys, okay? When I'm talking about bad guys, I'm talking about bugs, parasites, viruses, pathogens, anything in your gut that's bad. This is the one that's proven. And that's why you want to take a probiotic in the first place. P3OM is so awesome at fighting bad bacteria and upgrading your digestion that you can actually see it break down food online. Do this. It's fun to do. Go to p3om.com. That's p3om.com/WAD. p3om.com/WAD. And watch what happens when they put the probiotic on a piece of steak in a Petri dish. Okay, so this is what happens in your stomach. All right? Go to p3om.com/WAD. And I'll actually do this. Do WAD 10, okay? And that's WAD 10. And then there's a deal you guys are going to get. It's a company called Optimizers. I always have trouble saying that. Optimizers. And they make P3OM. And they're so confident that you're going to like it that they'll give you all your money back if you don't. You have nothing to lose. Just try it, okay? I have had gut issues before. It is not fun. I tried everything. Everything from taking proprio jelly, this honey, I was eating rice and chicken. I tried every kind of probiotic. I was trying colostrum. It's not fun. If you've got a bad gut, try this. It's the easiest way, the fastest way, the only patented way, and they've got a whole line of high-end products that are going to fix digestive issues. So you're going to have the option to get the same deal also on all those products on their site. So you're going to get, it's guaranteed. If you don't like it, you just send it back, money back guarantee. And I believe they're going to give you 10% off. That's right, 10% off at p3om.com/WOD10. Okay? Go there. Any kind of gut issues you have, this is the place to go. If you've never used a high-end probiotic before and you want to get rid of the bad guys, this is where you got to go. And if you've just been on antibiotics and you need to take a probiotic, this is where you need to go. Give this stuff a try. You'll like it. Money back guarantee. p3om.com/WOD10. Okay? Good luck. I don't know if I mentioned who our guest is even yet today. Our guest is David Hippensteel. Dave, we're on a short name basis, me and Dave. He calls me Eddie instead of Edward, and I call him Dave instead of David. That's the kind of guys we are. No, I've never met the guy before. I've been watching him on the internet for a long time now. His daughter was a freak of an athlete, was on the team down there in Invictus out of San Diego. And she lives up here in Malibu. And somehow from meeting her, I stumbled upon her dad, and I found out her dad is one of the greatest athletes I've ever seen because he's a Masters athlete. I think he's won the game 3 times. He's been there so many times. He's consecutively there. It's not like this guy takes a year off ever. He's just boom, boom, boom. He's so consistent. He's so good. If you watch him online, you're going to be like, wow, that's how I want to be when I'm 63 years old. Not only that, he's a really super nice guy, and he was fun to talk to. A lot of these guys that are so good at exercising have no personality, but this guy was fun, really nice. I hope you enjoy the show. These have been some strange times, and everybody's trying to stay healthy and get in shape and avoid getting sick. And I want to thank one of our sponsors out there is doing something really cool because we all know a lot of the affiliates are struggling, and this is a really tough time for everybody, the economy, CrossFit in general, and our friends over at O2. You've heard them. Dave has been on the show. Just love these guys. Love them. And I love their product. Their product is so, so good. In fact, I have to call them tomorrow to get more of it because I go through it like crazy. My daughter drinks it. I drink it. I got my dad drinking it now. My 84-year-old dad's drinking it. But it is my favorite non-carbonated recovery drink. It's incredible. It's basically, I could talk about it forever, but it's the same formulation when it comes to like sodium, potassium that you'd get in an IV drip. So if you've been working out hard and you need to recover, what do? They usually... if you get dehydrated, they put you on an IV. Well, this is the same thing. You're just putting it down your gullet. So tastes delicious. No sugar or very, very, very low sugar. They have 2 caffeinated kinds and 2 non-caffeinated. They've got a CBD one. It's all great, but more importantly, they're doing something really nice right now. They've launched a 50-50 campaign to support affiliates. So if you're having trouble making your rent, paying your bills, these guys are there for you. They're offering right now 50% off a 2 to 4 week supply of O2. That's 1 to 4 cases and free shipping if you go to drinko2.com. And this is capped at 4 cases while the demand for water is high and the supply is low. And they're contributing 50% of the profits from this sale to support affiliates. Okay? You got that? 50% of their profits are going straight to the affiliates. So just know that you're helping your gym, you're helping gyms in general, CrossFit gyms, and you're also taking care of yourself. If you need to recover, there's nothing better. I mean, this is the one I'm going to drink. I did my research. I love it. And I forgot to even mention their hook, like what makes them stand out from all the other recovery drinks. It's not just the good levels of electrolytes. It's that it's an oxygenated drink. So they oxygenate the water. No one else does this. Some people pump, CO2 into water to make a carbonated beverage. These guys pump oxygen in so that you're getting extra oxygen into your system, and does all kinds of great things. One, detoxifying your liver, two, getting that oxygen that you need into your bloodstream. So try it, enjoy it. Go to drinko2.com. The prices are already marked down. Look, they're CrossFitters themselves. One's a doctor and one's a CrossFitter, and they're doing this to help you guys. So just type your affiliate name in the order notes, and that's at drinko2.com. And other than that, I think we should get to the episode. I would talk to you about Patreon, but I'm having difficulty with it. There's like an internal, it's down for maintenance right now. So I'm sorry to say we don't know the winner this week. We're taking a week off because Patreon, look at this, down for maintenance. My wife said she's going to pull a winner out of her ass. I'd like to see you do that. She said, stand by. But here's what we do. Every single week, if you donate to Patreon, we don't have a lot of donors, but we really appreciate all of you that do it. That means you really love the show. And right now, it's tough. It's a struggle, the show. One thing, people don't listen to the show as much because of nobody's in their cars. And everybody's at home, and podcasting in general is not I've seen these stats that people are watching more stuff and listening to less stuff. Because we listen usually in cars and at work, and people aren't at work and people aren't in their cars. So one of the ways we support our show is that we have you donate if you want. $5 a month, and you can be a donor, and you can also win yourself a Myopux and a Leopard Claw. Myopux is an electronic muscle stimulator. It's awesome. Use it for any kind of injury to flush all the waste out. And the Leopard Claw is a multi-tool that you use to scrape the waste. So you scrape it first, and then you flush it second. I have to get my Myopux and put it on my arm today. I've got tennis elbow really badly, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So I've found it's just amazing at flushing the waste and getting you. I always say, this is just my theory, that if you have an injury, you can cut the injury time from, like, if it takes 6 weeks to get better, you'll get better in 2 weeks. So that's just me. You don't have to quote me on that, but donate $5 a month. You can win yourself a Leopard Claw and a Myopux. And the winner this week is Brian Janney, Janney. Brian, send us your, what a good dude. This dude gives $20 every month. Brian, send us your info right now. We're sending you a Myopux and a Leopard Claw, and I'm so happy to send you one of these. And I'm gonna talk to Troy over there at Myopux, and maybe you can throw something extra special in there for Brian. But listen, I hope you guys are all staying healthy, staying well, staying well exercised too. Do whatever you have to. If it's a million burpees in the middle of your studio apartment, stay healthy, get out there if you can get outside, walk around, run around, get yourself some outside and some vitamin D and the sunlight, and before this thing, takes over and makes us all insane. So it sucks not being able to work out like you usually do, but just do what you can, and we'll all get through this. I know it. And enjoy this episode with Dave Hippensteel. The guy's incredible. Oh, yep, that's it. I was going to tell you my live dates. If you want to come see me live, nope, you can't. I'm not performing live anymore for a long time. Enjoy the episode. Welcome to the Wadcast Podcast. I'm your host, Eddie Ift. Today, our guest, this is amazing. I wanted to talk to this guy for eons. That's as long as he's been alive. I'm just joking. He is. I'm up there too. I'm just joking with you. You are my idol. I've got to say that, ladies and gentlemen, Dave Hippensteel, who I saw you a while ago. From all your games. Every time you've been to the games, I'm one of those guys that watches the Masters. And cool. I find the Masters more intriguing than the regular games, because that's a true test of fitness and health and fitness, to last as long as you can and be as good as you are. And then I happen to meet your daughter doing Murph. Doing Murph down in Malibu. And then I started going down the wormhole of following you. And wow, you are probably the most impressive person in CrossFit to me.
That's crazy to hear you say that, but thank you. It's inspiring to hear that people are looking up to us and following us and that kind of thing. So,
well,
never would have thought it.
In the intro, I probably explained to everybody how badass you are, but I don't think they really get it unless you go online and watch some of your videos and just watch you work out, because you work out like a 20-year-old. And how old are you now? 63?
I'm 63, yeah. I'll be 64 next month, actually, in less than a month.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, what's your secret? Come on.
I have no idea. I've always been, into fitness and into nutrition, ever since high school. And, did track and field in college, and then got into triathlons after that. Raced motocross for a little while when I turned 40.
That's always a good time to start motocross.
Yeah, really. Try to eat well. This CrossFit thing has been a whole new level of fitness, though, that I hadn't known about. I think people realize that once they get into it.
You have some amazing genetics, though, because you got 4 kids. I watched a video once of all of you doing muscle ups together.
Yeah, that was a birthday. That was like a Christmas present for me. It's like, okay, guys, at Christmas time next year, we're all going to do muscle ups in a row, sequence, and that'll be my gift for Christmas. That's all I want.
So not only have you, how many times have you won the games? 3?
3 times, yeah.
You've won the games 3 times. You've made how many appearances?
7 so far. 7 so far, and yeah.
7 appearances. Consecutively, or did you have to take any years off?
Consecutively, yeah. Yeah, started in 2013.
Okay. Yep. You're a father of 4?
Yes.
Father of 4. You're a dentist. Where do you find the time?
Yeah, it's interesting because right when I started training, my youngest was in college already, around that time, or ending high school, going into college. So it kind of worked out perfectly for me because we grow up, we're still good friends. I mean, 3 of my kids are actually home because of the COVID-19 thing going on. Heather's the only one still out in Malibu. But the 3 kids are here. We just stay in touch. We're all close. We're all good friends still. We all train together. We've had some great training sessions, actually, while they're home, and it's been really cool. Yeah. And we'll actually link up with Heather and Gabby where she's at by video, and we did that the last 2 Saturdays. But it's finding a balance. The kids were grown up for the most part, and so I had a little extra time once they went off to college and or in their careers, that kind of thing. So I just kind of fit it in around my schedule. It's crazy.
Well, so I have to mention too, your daughter is an incredible athlete. Also, she a games athlete herself, was on the Invictus team. So she doesn't mess around either.
Yeah. She's the one that got me started.
Yeah. Well, so. Wait, I noticed your phone number's from Philly, though. You live in Tennessee.
Yeah, in Tennessee. I moved here, about 14 years ago or so.
So you led the CrossFit charge to Tennessee. They all followed you. It wasn't Froning.
I actually started, Froning, when did Froning start? 2010-ish. I started in 2012, right around there, and then stumbled through the Open 2012, and then I was hoping to qualify the next year in 2013. And that was the year that Heather introduced me to Invictus. I got to go out there, train with Invictus, and I really ramped up my training after the 2012 Open because I was kind of learning the ropes type thing, and then going to Invictus and just like seeing what was happening and knowing what I needed to work on got me ready for the Open much more than I had ever anticipated. So,
but so are you originally from Philly?
Originally, yeah, we're about an hour north of Philly originally. Grew up there, went to school there, and
where'd you go?
Went off to college. And then, what's that?
Where'd you go to school?
Actually started a junior college in Delaware to play football, and then I sprained my neck like the first week of football camp, and so my football career was pretty much over.
What'd you play? What position?
Actually, I was defensive end in high school, 155 pounds in high school.
Wow.
But I was like first team all league because I was so fast and I was strong for my size, even back then. So,
and then you went to junior college, and then where'd you go college?
Yeah, so I went to junior college, and then my brother, this is a pretty cool story because a month before I had to transfer, so it was in August, my brother talked me into going to Cal State Fresno, to train with him for decathlon. He had been training there for about 2 years doing decathlon, and he's a great athlete also. And anyway, so he talked me into going out there, and I transferred out there, and I spent 3 years out there. The first year I did decathlon. Never had done pole vault before, but I learned pole vault, got over 13. I got almost 14 feet my first year doing pole vault. But we did all the events, and he was great having a training partner out there, and he pushed the heck out of me, and we were.
So your brother,
we get going.
Your brother's older.
He is, 2 years older.
Does he CrossFit?
He does not CrossFit. He's into the stretching thing.
Yeah.
Like he's into he calls it yoga instead of yoga because his name's Joe. But actually he's got a pretty good thing going right now. He was mentioned in that book Can't Hurt Me. And because he helped the Navy, he helps the Navy SEALs with their injuries and stuff like that, injury prevention, injury.
Is that Goggins' book? Can't Hurt Me?
Yeah, Dave Goggins' book. Yep, exactly. Yeah. So
he's your brother. Let's put the two of you side by side.
Yeah,
you've gone CrossFit. He's gone yoga. Which one of you would you say is healthier?
That's a great question. I have to go with the CrossFit model because that's what I believe in. As far as being at the level of fitness that you're able to achieve. But he's a healthy guy for sure. He eats. He's pretty much eating really well as well. Nutrition, understands nutrition, blood analysis. He's into all that as well. So yeah. So I want him to do CrossFit, man. It would be cool. So it would be cool if you start that.
So when you did decathlon, I ran hurdles, 110-meter hurdles in college.
Oh, no way, yeah.
And
I did hurdles also, yeah.
And the 400s also. And I remember the decathletes would train with us for it's kind of like CrossFit. They would come in and they would train with us for a day or two. And then they would go out with the throwers for a day or two. And then they would go with the jumpers for a day or two. And I just looked at them like, how do you do anything? Because you're doing what I do. Yeah. Times 3. And it just seemed impossible. And especially going to college and trying to carry all that. And they were, some of these guys, and I was just a specialist and they could almost run as fast as me. And I was like, but they could also throw a shot put 50 some feet or whatever it was and pole vault 13 feet.
Or pole vault high jump.
It was pretty incredible to try to master all those disciplines, but it's very comparative to CrossFit.
It really is. And I think that's what got me to, I think doing that decathlon for a year, a little over a year and stuff, It just taught me what it's like to be in the absolute best shape of your life. And I think CrossFit rivals that. In other words, it's like I experienced a certain level of fitness training and doing triathlons for 20 years off and on. But once I stepped into a CrossFit gym, started doing that, my triathlon improved. Plus I achieved that whole nother level of fitness. So
you and I have a similar path. I went from track and field to trying triathlons to CrossFit, but you're way more talented in OCD than I am. I did and then I would go, I'm done with this. And then when I got into triathlons, I was like, I wanted to meet hot chicks, and I was like, you're alone for 8 hours at a time on a bike. You don't meet anyone. It was a terrible, like lonely sport. It can be, especially if you did the full length ones then, right? No, so I was doing Olympic distance.
Yeah, that's what I did. But you're right. You're out there for 8 hours because you're doing your swim, and then you're getting out on your bike, and then doing all that training and stuff. I never could train. I trained once for a half Ironman, and then just kind of burned out in that process. And so I ended up just sticking with the track, because I had 4 kids at the time. They're just still wanting to be around them, and I would take them for rides. Like I remember John and Heather, I'd take them for rides in the buggy on the bike, and we'd go for 20-mile bike rides. And of course, training after, and they loved it. It was perfect for them. So
my wife's reading a book, and it's about I got it for her as a joke. It said how to not hate my husband when you have kids or something. And one of the things says in it that it's amazing how husbands get into endurance sports as soon as they have kids.
Oh my gosh. I actually started before we had kids, but I'm sure that's probably true. It helps to keep our balance, which is super important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so the triathlon thing, do you ever have the urge to do an Ironman?
I did. I trained, like I said, I trained once for a half Ironman. I was going to do that. It was at the Philly, actually. It was a Philly half Ironman. And, I'm kind of glad I didn't, because we were going to swim in the Schuylkill River, which is a terrible place to swim. Yeah. And, but ended up I actually ended up getting sick. I actually got pneumonia that year because I was overtraining. I was like on this schedule where I'd get up at like 3 or 4 in the morning. I'd go in and I'd do the run, and then I'd do the swim, and then I'd go to work, and then I'd get home and I'd repeat, And, I was doing that for like 3 months. Getting ready for the July triathlon, and right before that, I just ended up getting like wearing out, like overdoing it, which is a fairly common theme for me.
Just a little side note: I grew up in Pittsburgh.
I thought I saw that.
And growing up, we used to swim in the Allegheny River. We would go water skiing, and my buddy had a little Boston Whaler with like this giant engine on the back that could pull us. Yeah. We'd go water skiing every day, and we used to go to this bridge, the 40th Street Bridge in Lawrenceville, and climb up on it and jump off. And there was a rope.
Oh my gosh, you are like me.
Into the most diseased, infected. Oh my gosh, really? I mean, that's a steel town. There was like just more chemicals and pollution in that water. If I ever developed some kind of weird cancer or anything, and everybody goes, it was the Allegheny River for sure. Yeah, for sure. And so, I mean, at this point in my life, if somebody said, hey, we're going to go swim in the Schuylkill River, I'd be like, you're out of your mind. I wouldn't swim in that for all the money in the world.
Exactly.
So I assume 20 years of doing it, you were pretty good at it.
I did okay. Yeah.
Were you as good as you are in CrossFit?
No. Well, no. I mean, interestingly enough, when I started CrossFit, even though Heather talked me into it and I loved it. I was doing it originally. I got hooked up with a local gym, CrossFit Solifide is what it's Solified, and I work with them in order to increase my triathlon ability.
Sure.
And so it actually got me winning my age group, at least in the local races during when I was training for triathlon doing CrossFit. So because it really took me to that next level. So that was pretty interesting phenomenon. That was in 2012. Right around that time when I started.
That's a little bit of how I kind of found it. Also was a buddy of mine, Kenny Kane, when I first started getting into it. I said, can this help me with any kind of endurance stuff? And he said, follow this guy, Brian McKenzie. He's like,
Brian McKenzie.
And he's like, Brian's got a pretty good program for people that are like trying to help their endurance, because I was just a really bad endurance athlete. And he said, follow Brian. He's got a really good program, blah, 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 and it'll help you. So then I, became familiar with Brian and everything. But what was your best of the three, the swim, the bike, the run?
I was pretty even in the bike and the run. They were both pretty strong. So So, swimming was still getting stronger it was getting stronger every year.
Yeah.
I never was a swimmer. I was always a runner and never did bike, but the bike came pretty easily. So I got really good at the bike and the run, basically. So
when you do the Masters competitions, they don't let you guys do any of the fun stuff, do they? You don't get into the swimming and you did do the swim, didn't you?
We did, yeah. In fact, it's super valuable for me, because the more you test me, the wider the variety of tests for me, the better I do. Because I may not be the best at one thing, but I can do a lot of things well.
Which is what CrossFit, the definition of it is.
It was like awesome.
But I imagine watching you, it sounds so creepy, I'm watching you, that you are a bit of, like from what I've seen of Masters athletes, because it's such a weird phenomenon, because to me it's just, it's amazing, because I've been doing CrossFit over 10 years, and I've seen how much I've lost over 10 years due to age. And the fact that some of these guys maintain it. And one of the things is you can maintain your strength and even get stronger as you get older. But that's what it seems like a lot of these guys are. When I meet them at gyms and stuff, the Masters have, there are a lot of big guys that are really, really strong. And so they can crush those events. And I imagine when it comes to endurance or any kind of, speed or agility, gymnastic agility, they're all hurting there.
Yeah. Not necessarily, I mean, there's a lot of them that are, the top guys are really, really, really well-rounded as well. So, but you're right. As it tends to, move away from the top, it's because of the lack of versatility in everything, I think is what it comes down to. So
you're also getting, I imagine every year it's getting way more and more competitive.
It is, yeah. Because this year especially, like I was thrilled to be where I'm at in the online qualifier, because it's my 5th year in the age group this year.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely crazy, yeah. So
you're at the older end. Because I had a friend, Sandy Hill, who years ago, probably like 5, 6, 7 years, I forget how many years ago, about 7 years ago, 8 years even. I said to her, I knew her. She's a friend of mine. She climbed Mount Everest. And I said to her, she was just a badass. And I said, Sandy, you should do this thing called CrossFit. You'll love it. I took her in, and like 3 days later, she was like competing to get into the games. And she's just that personality. She hired a weightlifting coach, a gymnastics coach. She was just, all in. Yeah. And sure enough, I think she finished second that year in the 60 plus.
Wow.
So to me, not taking anything away from Sandy, because she's amazing. She's phenomenal. But it just didn't seem that competitive. I mean, I don't even know if Sandy had a muscle up at that time.
Oh, right. Gotcha.
Where now I try to beat the 60 plus women's every year in the Open, and they crush me. And and I'm just like, what the? Who are these people? I mean, the first day of last year's Open, I thought, I'm going to embarrass these women. This is going to be hysterical. And I think I came in the first event 150th. And I was just, I won one of them. I won one because it was heavyweight, and it was like I could get them there. But,
oh my God.
But they beat me every time. They were just killing me. And I was like, this is really gotten to be competitive. So you should be proud of your accomplishments. How do you stay prevent yourself from getting injured?
Yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, it's something you got to keep paying attention to. I was probably pretty fortunate in the beginning, because I was way over my head. Going out to Invictus, seeing what they were doing, then coming back to the gym at home and doing everything that they were doing. Like it was ridiculous, like what I was doing. But every night my wrists would just like be screaming in pain, sharp pain, just from doing all those cleans at heavy weights that I wasn't used to. And but you just kind of like you learn. Fortunately, I got through those beginning years, and then I realized after about 3 years, because I made it to the games those 3 years, at age 57, 58, and 59. And did fine at the games, but I realized that I was overtrained. The combination of winning at age 60 when I moved up to the next age group was a lot of it was like just maturing from the experience I got at games, and also like leveling off and balancing the heavy stuff with the endurance stuff and agility, that kind of thing. So So it was super important to kind of, I think for sure I was overtrained those first 3 years going into the games. Didn't allow myself to have rest. Yeah.
I think that was everyone, though. I think there was
I think you're right.
not bad programming, but everybody just figured that's what you had to do. And then, then a lot of science came into it, and people went, oh, you can, it goes back to your like track and field days. I used to tell people at CrossFit, I'm like, look, I ran at an elite level, and we never trained like this to be as good as we were. Why? And I just couldn't understand. It's when the games started ramping up and everybody started working out 2 and 3 times a day, and I just kept saying, this can't be good. This and then the programming started getting smarter and smarter and smarter, and I realized that like guys are able to reach that elite level with less training. Now, what kind of supplements are you taking? You gotta. So I am. It's not a big deal. I mean, I'll go through spaces where I'm not taking any. I'll usually always have some protein. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty fortunate. I got a sponsorship with Clean Athlete, who gives me my protein. Also, I get protein and all my supplements from Clean Athlete, which is a great company because they're all NSF certified. Okay.
So they're all you're not getting any contamination. And also another great company, Ascent Protein, giving me some protein as well. And then Vital Proteins just pick me up. My son John is connected to them through his modeling and stuff like that career. And I've been taking a lot of the Vitals collagen stuff. Exactly. Yeah.
I had chondromalacia after I just did a big run, and my knees were just crushed, and I'd never had knee problems. And I'm friends with Matty over at Matty Oporto over at Vitals, and he was like, I'm going to send you exactly what you need. Just start taking this stuff. And it's been amazing. They don't pay me $1, but I'm telling you, I don't know if it was all the stretching I did or the collagen, but I feel my knees feel great, and I'm so happy for that. Now my elbows is a different story, but
but maybe a little more time, and it's going to help those as well.
So I'm very happy with Vitals. I just assumed I've got friends that are like you, that at your age, that are in phenomenal shape, and they look like an elderly person the way they're popping pills in the morning with like their turmeric and their collagen and their protein, their amino acids. So I figured just to be as elite as you. But it's just the protein.
It's mainly protein, but I will take a probiotic. I'm making sure I take my vitamin D. I got a multivitamin I'm taking, and then I've really just this past year I've started with the Vital Proteins, and then they've got a spirulina is also that, and so it's just pretty much that. And I really probably should be a little more disciplined on taking them more than just once a day, but pretty much I'm just taking stuff once a day. And other than protein, I'll have protein probably 3 or 4 times a day.
But I assume 3 or 4 times? Wow.
So I mean, it's like 25 grams. So I'm trying to get in fact, just this past year, I've been working on that more specifically. So
I assume, as you get older, the protein, people don't realize how much more protein you need. And they think, oh, you don't need it because you're not as big, and you're not. This is when you do need it.
I was kind of experimenting with that this year because I think that's been lacking because I can only eat so much meat, but so I supplement that with the protein drinks and making sure. Like I'm supposed to get. I don't know if you know Jamie Free back down at the Masters Fitness Collective, but he got me started and he measured out exactly how many grams I should have according to my weight and activity level and all that stuff. So I'm supposed to be getting around 150 grams of protein a day, and I never paid attention to that before.
Yep.
And this year for the Open and the online qualifier, I really built up my strength.
How much do you weigh?
I weigh 163 right now.
I'm surprised it's not even higher. That they I'm surprised it's just as little as 150 because I use MacroStacks, which is an app. It's this web-based app, and I was talking to a nutritionist friend of mine, and they have me up at like over. I'm about 175 pounds, and they had me doing more grams than weight.
Really?
Yeah, and MacroStacks is great because I didn't realize how I was eating way too much fat. I thought it was fine, and I I'm not saying I was in a ketogenic diet by any means because I like my carbs, but the problem of too much fat and too much carbs, I had to like get those out and get more protein in. And mine's more of a balanced kind of all three. But I'm surprised that you just with how much you work out and how strong you are that you're not even eating more than that.
Yeah, and I maybe have to be reevaluating. I'm just kind of like paying attention to that. Like, and it sounds crazy. Like I've had all this, good fitness going and success that I've had, but without really paying much attention to my diet, other than eating really healthy paleo diet. Having steak, spinach, avocado every day, that kind of thing.
You don't cheat at all?
What's that?
Do you cheat at all?
Rarely. I mean, I love eating steak or roast beef and spinach and avocado, and it really works for me. So
yeah, I'm the same.
Got a good energy level.
I'm the same way. Where if you put a good meal in front of me, like steak, avocado, some good vegetables, couldn't be happier. The problem is that's not lying around the house 3 times a day. So every once in a while, my wife sneaks something in the house, and I'm like, "Oh, look what I found!"
I mean, I do love pizza, and so I'll have pizza on occasion. Actually, I just had right after the online qualifier that I was looking forward to having some pizza, but it'll be like 3 times a year that I'll have pizza after the games, after the Open and after the online qualifier.
This is my favorite part of the show. I love talking about Clover. I love saying that name, Clover. Are you all thinking about Clover? Well, you should, because Clover is going to make your life 1,000,000 times better. What's one of the most important aspects of rest and recovery? Sleep. Yeah. We've all learned, especially through this show, how important rest and recovery is. We talk about it on this episode with Dave a lot about how important it is not to overtrain, how to rest, and nobody gets good enough sleep. Okay, maybe a few people. Crazy Bobby gets really good sleep, and look at him. He looks like he's 25 and he's 82 years old. Clova is going to make you get better sleep. That's why they created it. It's a patch that you're going to put on. It's the #1 selling sleep patch. It's available online on Amazon and Walgreens. It's got over 1,000 5-star reviews. It's got 1,000 5-star reviews. Now, all you do is you're going to place one little patch on your arm about 2 hours before bed. And then a time-release blend of natural occurring ingredients goes to work promoting a restful night of sleep. Okay? So Clova is ideal for people who have trouble falling asleep and people who have trouble staying asleep. That's me. I have both. I have trouble falling asleep and staying asleep. Once I get up, I can't get back to sleep. Okay, well, if you're like that, try this. It's got a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can try Clova absolutely hassle-free. Okay? Save 20% on your first order today using the claim code WODPOD20. WODPOD20. Go to Clova.com. Are you wondering how to spell Clova? It's KLOVA.com. Use that code WODPOD20. You're going to save 20%. So if you're needing good sleep, which I know you do, and this is the time when you should be working on your sleep because you can. Get yourself 9 hours of sleep. Put this patch on 2 hours before you go to bed. Feel really good. And then hit the bed. And then the next thing you know, you're going to wake up just feeling really, really rested and make your life a lot better. Thanks to Clova. Clova.com. Use the code WODPOD20. Save 20%. It's really good. Real good foods. That is the best food in the world, and we need to get this right now. I'm obsessed with their food. So I need to get their ice cream now. I have no ice cream. I don't go to the grocery stores. I have everything delivered. And Real Good Foods, which is like one of the best, if not best, foods that you get. They've got super premium, better for you ice cream. How good's that sound, huh? It's extra creamy, no icy or chalky texture or other light ice creams. It's got 4 grams of sugar, 180 calories per serving. It's sweetened with allulose. And you're going, what's allulose? It's a natural occurring sweetener. It's it isn't like regular sugar. It's natural occurring. It's so it's paleo. It's rare sugar. It's found in things like figs, dates, maple syrup. It's definitely paleo because of that. It has 1/10 the calories of cane sugar and no impact on blood glucose, meaning it's not going to spike your blood sugar levels. So if you're diabetic, you can take it. If you're trying to stay keto, I don't know if you can do it in the keto diet. You might be able to, but it's just great. It's not going to give you all the problems sugar is going to give you. And unlike artificial sweeteners and sugar alcohols, which are produced with chemicals, the allulose in the ice cream is produced through a natural enzymatic process, so it doesn't metabolize like traditional sugar. It's the sugar-free sugar. All right, it's check out their website and you can read all about it. It's made the ice cream's made with fresh milk and cream. It's made with 16% butter fat, making their ice cream classified as super premium real ice cream. And these pints are only available online at realgoodfoods.com and in your local vitamin shop. Now, I don't know. I assume the vitamin shops are still open. They seem essential. But go online. Make yourself safe and stay inside. Instead of going out and going to vitamin shops, just order these. They're so good that they call them Real Good. They should change their name from realgoodfoods.com to thebestfoods.com. It's just so good. Order a bundle now at realgoodfoods.com. That's going to include 5 pints for $49.99 and free shipping. So in a bundle, you're going to get 5 pints, $49.99 and free shipping. Okay, now, most important part of all. You're going, what are the flavors? I'm going to tell you. Start licking your lips right now. Chocolate, Tanzanian vanilla, mint chocolate chip, which is my favorite, peanut butter chocolate chip, second favorite flavor, and then there's a free limited edition mystery flavor, which, hey, if you're a little risky, go for it. Order now and get yourself the free limited edition mystery flavor pint and free shipping, okay? So like I said, you got to go to realgoodfoods.com. realgoodfoods.com. Order that now. I don't want to get controversial here, and I don't want to but the games, the Masters athletes, they test you guys obviously for some
they do.
Performance
they should test us more. Yeah, they should test us more. I don't know if you heard, but yeah, this last year that
was the point I was going to make.
Yeah,
when you look at a lot of the Masters athletes, too, I look at you, and you're not one of these jacked up guys that looks like you're a competitive bodybuilder. You look like a fit, you don't have the size on you that some of these guys have. That that it's hard not to believe. And also, I think, am I mistaken? You tell me if I'm wrong. That if somebody is a Masters athlete and they're on a testosterone prescribed testosterone, is that legal or not?
I really don't know all the legality of things. Never had to pay attention to it.
Sure.
But I do know that the guy that won in my age division last year got kicked out.
Okay.
And he was taking exogenous testosterone. So
okay.
Which is a bummer that they didn't test, during the year.
Yeah. I thought. I guess I'm wrong. I thought something like if you were taking testosterone replacement therapy, that was legal because it was prescribed by a doctor, because at a certain age your testosterone starts dropping. But I guess not, because if he's taking
I'm thinking that there's certain level that if you exceed that, but again, I'm talking out of something that I don't really know. But I'm thinking that if you exceed a certain level, there's no way that you're naturally producing that. So I'm thinking that's probably what happened.
Well, so I'm talking just, this is me and my dumb Google science. What I think it is in testing, from what I've heard before, most people have a 1-to-4 ratio or something like that of testosterone, and you're allowed to go up to 4. Your level can go up to 4 before you get popped. And so, because some people just have higher testosterone levels. So a lot of people in sports microdose to that level to make sure they get to, like, if you're allowed to go to 4, it's like speeding. Hey, they don't pull you over till you're 10 over, so drive at 9. A lot of guys go to the level where they're allowed to.
Yeah.
And I had a guy on a couple weeks ago who's a professional bodybuilder, power lifter, everything. Friend of mine who has used a lot and talked about it and how it and they work. They work. So it's tough. I've always said for guys like you that are competing against a guy that gets busted, it must always be in the back of your head when someone's beating you. You're going, is that guy beating me because he's stronger and faster and better than me, or is he beating me because he's cheating?
Yeah, exactly. And that was the biggest bummer about this. The biggest disillusionment for me this past year is, because I dominated for 3 years, 16, 17, 18. And then this year, I actually had a couple injuries I was dealing with, but part of the injuries, I was pushing myself based on what the top guy was doing. And it's like, he was a guy brand new in the 60 plus. And it's like, man, it's like, I'm pushing myself because it's like, I'm a competitive guy, it's like, I live for this. And it's like, if somebody's out there, it's like, I'm going to do everything I can to keep up or surpass what they're doing. And so I'm pushing myself probably too much last year. And then come to find out, we didn't find out till October, 2-3 months after the games, that he was kicked out because of, drug use. So it was a bummer, because I am so committed to like healthiness and at the end of the day, it's not about where you place. It's about how healthy you stay and how your fitness contributes to your overall health and longevity. And so I'm just a huge fan of that. And so when that kind of stuff happens, I just really get, it's angry, disappointed, that kind of thing. So were you in second behind him? No, I was not in second. Okay. No, actually, I'll tell you, if you want to hear, I herniated a disc, 2 discs, 2 weeks before the games this past year. So I was in excruciating pain. I never should have competed. I mean, I went and Arasti got me pretty good. I won the first event actually. And, after that I did the ruck run and the pain, because the pain in the back was bad all week, but Arasti helped get it under control.
Excuse me, where in your back? What part of your
So L4, L5. It was 2 herniated discs with extrusion. L4, L5 was extruded, and I only found that out after I got an MRI. After I got back from the games, and the pain in the leg was just still excruciating every night, all day long. Finally got an MRI because it wasn't getting better, thinking I'm going to need surgery. And so that's what I found out. But fortunately, after I got the MRI, after I went to see the surgeon that particular week, this was like 2 to 3 weeks after the games, I showed a little bit of improvement, enough of improvement that the surgeon said, look, man, if you're improved at all, we don't have to do any surgery right now. Let's just let it go. And it kept healing. And by the time the Open came around in October, I was, say, 80%. So I really struggled through that first event, but as the Open continued, my back just got better and better every week. Even though I wasn't had my normal strength endurance for like the deadlifts and stuff like that got heavy. I still got through it, but just I didn't shine as much as I normally would have. But I was just so happy that like I could do these deadlifts, 255, without hurting my back. It felt fine. It felt great the whole time. So
is that the Louis Simmons model? He's like a weak back, a sore back is a weak back. I don't lift through the pain, and the muscles will repair the pain.
Well, it was definitely a difference between the injury and then the regular soreness that you have. I live for the soreness part. I know I've worked if I get sore, but the injury part, that was bad news because I'm a dentist, man. I had to be back in my office right after games, and it's like I was in excruciating pain. It's like I'm thinking like I shouldn't have been doing that, but hey, I got a 5th place, and I was pretty happy. I was actually 6th place, but then when they kicked out the first place guy, I would theoretically move into 5th place. So I was pretty happy with that.
I feel sorry for the guy who was second that actually ended up winning after the guy got bumped because you don't get to be there and get all that attention and everybody talking. Yep. It's like 2 months later, oh yeah, you're the winner now, and it's like who gives a shit? Yeah, it really sucks. I've talked about this a lot on this show. I'm not against them. I'm not against performance-enhancing drugs because there's all kinds of things that enhance us and make us better at what we are. However, I don't like the fact that they test, and I'm not for like having a drug free-for-all because it's not healthy, but I would like to see it like bodybuilding where they have a natural category and a performance-enhancing drug category, because I think a lot of people would still, people would want to watch the crazy monsters on drugs. And at the same time, there's people like me that would go, I don't want to watch those guys because they're in a different world than me. I don't want to be part of that. I'd rather watch the guys that are doing it naturally, who are showing really what the true meaning of fitness and health is. So I think there's something for everybody then. And it's like the scaled division or the master. Why not have just, hey, here's the monsters? Because we all know, because they've gotten caught. They're in there. Yeah. They're in there. They're competing. And I feel like it screws with the heads of the guys that aren't. And it's not fair because you're at almost at a mental disadvantage knowing,
So in other words, what you're saying is they're going to do it anyway. Yeah. So why not have a different category? Whereas I would think is like, man, just keep it illegal because, just test them more, do what you got to do to get them out of there. Because like, it's just I just really believe in like, we're supposed to be doing this for our health, and we should be an example of what health is. And,
as long as there's money, there's going to be cheating.
Yeah, I know.
And they cannot catch them. It's too easy to cheat, and it's hard as they try not to. I mean, you look at Lance Armstrong, 150 times the guy was tested. No, 150. I forget how many times he was tested and never once caught. So, they always say if you get caught, you're stupid.
Yeah, I guess.
So, I don't know. So I'm curious, what brought you to Tennessee?
So, Tennessee, I'm a songwriter at heart, I guess. And when I started like hanging out, I had a guy who was in medical school when I was in dental school. We used to do some coffee houses back in the day. We'd play guitar, do some songs, and he moved to Nashville like 8 years before I did, and started getting into the songwriting thing. And so he ended up, I guess I would talk to him every so often. He'd tell me about the Songwriting Association down here and all that stuff. And so I just kind of like got like this dream, like I wanted to go check it out. And still had 4 kids, packed them up, and we moved to Tennessee.
That's hilarious.
I wanted to get some land. I wanted to have more land. I was still dirt biking at the time. I hadn't discovered CrossFit yet, and I wanted to get some more land. I had 10 acres up in Pennsylvania, and I got 40 acres in Tennessee, and build a dirt bike track there. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
that's kind of cool. I live out here in California, and it's hard to own land. If you see behind me. I've got thousands of acres right behind me.
So you're in Malibu, right?
Yeah, I'm up in the hills. Yeah. I call it Malabama.
Okay, yeah, good.
But I mean, we have thousands of acres of trails, and they're restoration. They're kind of like somebody donated the land, and it's my backyard, and it was donated. But I live in a horse community, and they all ride equestrian through there. So they kind of run it. And the trails are amazing. Like I run through them all the time, but you're not allowed to mountain bike. You're not allowed to motocross. And apparently back in the day, this used to be the motocross neighborhood.
Oh my gosh.
The horse people took over. But now there's a big battle because the horse people are dominated by the mountain bike people, and we're not allowed on the trails. So we're kind of trying to petition and say, at least give us a couple days a week or like afternoons or something where we can ride. Because, a motorcycle or a bike, we could, if a horse, we come around a corner, horse fire up and kill the person. So, so it sucks. But I love that you've got, it's always kind of been my dream to have, like, I grew up BMXing and mountain biking, and I would love to have like acreage or just have a dirt track or a pump track or something. So that's awesome. Yeah. So you have a full dirt bike track.
Well, I did. I actually moved once I started CrossFit and I actually owned a gym for about 3 years. Okay. And so I kind of transitioned out of that place, and I had to move closer to the gym. And then I ended up phasing out of the gym thing because I got competitive right when I owned the gym. Right when I bought the gym or started the gym. The Open started. That was in 2013, and I ended up winning the Open that year, and it kind of changed the whole trajectory of my vision and stuff like that. So I ended up, phasing out of the gym. Focused on being competitive. I just couldn't do both and make things work. So, either financially or competitively. So I just ended up selling the gym and going back into debt.
Does that gym still exist?
It did for a while, but the guy that bought it, great guy, Kent, still a good friend of mine. He was going to move down from he's a president of a bank in Indiana. He was going to move down. That was his thing. To want to retire. His wife's parents are from around here and stuff. So he was going to move down, but that just never materialized. So we ended up just selling it. So, but there's plenty of gyms. There's probably too many gyms in Clarksville, but it's all cool. It's a good place to be.
How far is Clarksville from Cooksville?
We're about 2 hours.
Oh, it is that far. Okay.
Well, I'll get to Rich's gym every so often.
Yeah.
I'll see Chris Hinshaw once in a while, that kind of thing. I'll train with him. So
I was going to say you and Hinshaw probably similar backgrounds and all that stuff. So
yeah, for sure. That guy's amazing. I was going to introduce you to my son John. He just poked his head in.
Sure.
Have you met John before?
I don't think I have.
He's been out visiting Heather a couple times.
How you doing, John?
Speaking of triathlons, what's up, dude? He did the Ironman. He qualified for the Ironman. Your second time that you did an Ironman in Arizona?
Yeah, I used to.
This was back in 2011
for Kona. You qualified for Kona.
Kona, yeah. It was. I was in the 18 to 24 age group and just went really well.
Isn't that one of the hardest age groups?
I would say it's one of the easier ones.
Oh, really?
It can be a wild card. 25 to 29, and then in the 30s and 40s gets really insane.
Okay, yeah.
And they actually, it's interesting in that, late 30s, 40 age group, they have the same kind of issue with doping. That cycling does that, like in the Masters divisions. It's crazy. But,
yeah. Well, it's so hard. I wake up some days and I'm sore from just sleeping.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm checking my battery here real quick just to make sure I don't run out.
That's okay.
We can check.
It's on. Oh yeah, we're still good. We're still good. All right, it's charging.
Yeah, and I went to Pepperdine too, so I'm really familiar with Malibu.
So
that's right.
Pepperdine's right down the hill from me. I'm up in Malibu Canyon.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, dude. Where they filmed MASH.
Yeah, it's exactly where that's my backyard.
Nice.
I ran into a rattlesnake there one time.
I see them every day.
I guess you do. I was so close to wanting to catch that thing because I grew up when I'm in Tennessee. I'll catch whatever snake I can find.
Yeah.
And they got 6-foot black snakes, that kind of thing. And I was so close to, and I talked myself out of it. Fortunately, I guess I had some sense.
So I try to catch. My goal is to catch a California racer. They're the fastest snakes in the world, and you can catch them. They're really hard to catch because they're so fast. And I see one every once in a while, and I'll be on a run, and I'll stop my run. I'm like, I am going to catch this thing if it's the last thing I ever do.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But the rattlesnakes I don't mess with at all.
Yeah.
And Hunter McIntyre, who's a really good friend of mine who lives out here, is an idiot. He's an amazing athlete. Yeah, but he's one of the dumbest people I've ever met in my entire life.
Just wild and crazy, right?
He's an idiot. And if you watch, I think it was yesterday, every time he comes across a rattlesnake, he teases them. And he sent me a video yesterday or 2 days ago of him picking one up with a stick and just taunting it. And I love animals, first of all, and he's doing it. Yeah. And I went, and it was me and another buddy on the chin. I go, you don't know how badly I was praying this ended in you getting bit. I just I want him to learn a lesson.
Just to learn a lesson.
Every time he sees a rattlesnake, he chases them. He goes after them, and I know sooner or later one of these snakes is going to get him, and he's going to be going, duh. And I'm glad he films it. I'm glad he films it because he's going to be on Barstool Sports or something watch this idiot try to catch a rattlesnake. And but I moved in here. And we were renovating our house, and I didn't even know there were rattlesnakes. And the first week, the guy that was renovating my house, was doing all the landscaping, kept calling me, and I was in the house, and I just kept hitting denied. I was like, I'm busy, dude. I can't talk to you. And all of a sudden, I hear someone banging on my door, and I opened the front door and it's him. And I was like, oh shit, now he knows I was available. And I was like, and he goes, Eddie, there's a rattlesnake out here. There's a rattlesnake. And I was like, oh, cool, let's see it. He takes me outside, and there's a rattlesnake laying there without its head. And I go, what happened? He goes, I called you, and you wouldn't answer, so I chopped its head off with a shovel. And I go, oh, okay. He goes, can I eat it? I go, what?
Oh, my God.
He goes, can I have it? And I was like, yeah, why not? He's like, well, it's your snake. It was on your property. I'm like, yeah, you can have it. So, so I saw him the next day. I go, how's the snake? He was like, oh, it's delicious.
I've seen that in a movie before, but I never tasted it.
I ate cobra in Vietnam one time.
Oh my God.
It tastes like calamari.
Does it really?
Yeah.
I've heard rattlesnake. They give it like the chicken thing. It tastes just like guys claim it's amazing, but I doubt it, or I think we'd eat it more. And you know, with what happened in Wuhan and people eating strange animals, I think we should just lay off something that we're not used to.
Let's stick to cows.
Yeah. Never once have I ever been like, I'm craving a bat right now. I want some.
Exactly.
Anybody have any bat sushi? Yeah. So, So you guys are handling the quarantine well, I see. You're just working out like usual.
Basically, pretty much trying to. I'm still trying to recover a little bit. I got a little bit of a shoulder injury, that I was nursing throughout leading up to the qualifier and stuff like that. Didn't keep me from doing anything, but it was just sore afterwards. So I'm trying to get that back to 100%.
Do you have a crossover symmetry there?
I do actually.
Yeah,
I need to use it more. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing I swear is like the
right? Okay.
the panacea for shoulder injuries. Yeah. Anytime anyone I know has one, I'm like, get that, or use an electronic muscle stimulator like a Myopux or something. And I'm amazed at how fast you can rehab an injury now. But except I have this elbow that I do not know what's going on.
Oh man, yeah, I had an elbow issue like the last year. I had an elbow issue that lasted almost the whole year.
It's terrible,
and I can't figure out it. I don't know. It just took time to heal.
Yeah,
couldn't figure out exactly when it started, but probably from I have a difficulty with my wrists, so doing front squats. I was doing a lot of heavy front squats, and just put a lot of stress on the elbow. So
how many times do you work out a day?
So I'm only doing one time a day. So, but on weekends I'll do my longer workouts. So Saturday and Sunday. When I'm in season, basically. Right now I'm kind of resting. Getting ready to gear up for games if we have it, hopefully. But my weekends are like longer time periods, like, so over a 2-hour period, I'll get, 3 workouts in. I'll do a strength thing with deadlifts and squats or something, and then I'll go on to some Metcon. So
do you do all your own programming?
I just keep going back to my own programming. I just feel like I know what I need to do. I work with CompTrain a bunch the last couple of years, and I still work with Dan DeLamba, who's my coach still. And so I'll check in with him every so often, and just to kind of see if there's something I'm missing. He kind of looks, for the most part, looks at my workouts, stuff like that. So sees what I'm doing.
So besides
man.
Oh, see you, John. Nice meeting you.
All right. Yeah. All right.
So besides being besides the fact that you were injured last year and you're up at the top end of the age group, where do you think? What were your weaknesses that were like?
You mean, last year? You mean?
Yeah.
Last year, unfortunately, and again, I love fitness and I love all the dimensions of fitness, but when I analyzed the programming for the Masters, there were some years, like when I first got to the 60 plus in 2016, I think 2016 and 17 were the best, well-rounded, truest tests of fitness, because that was when we went to Madison in 2017, and they had the obstacle course,
right?
And they didn't like scale the obstacle course. It's like, give us the obstacle course, don't scale it, because the next year then they scale the obstacle course, so you couldn't do the rope to rope, all those things that really built into the programming the truer test of fitness. They were taking that stuff out, and so, but like 2016, I want to say it was Pat Sherwood that programmed that year. I think it was one of the most balanced years of CrossFit for the Masters. period. And then 2017 was much like that. And then 2018, they kind of like, let's throw more endurance in because these guys can't do this, that, and the other thing. So let's throw more endurance in. And then this past year, we just to give you an example, they scaled the one event when the younger masters had 90 foot of handstand walk, and then it was a heavy ball carry, like a 140-pound sandbag carry, and then it was the bike. So two of those three were definitely biased towards the bigger guys. Mm-hmm. And what they did to scale it is they took out 60 feet of handstand walks. So basically they took the balancing, the truer chest of fitness, the thing that made that true chest of fitness,
sure,
and they scaled that back, but not the weight or anything else to take out the bias towards the certain athletes. So
who programmed this last time?
I'm not sure who programmed this past year. So don't really know.
Is it ever Castro? Does Castro ever do the?
That's a good question. I don't know if he does. I don't think he does the Masters.
Because I think he does a pretty good job of like balancing. I've always said CrossFit,
and that's yeah.
I've always said CrossFit is a little too weightlifting centric. I've always felt like if you're talking about it being, a broad domains. My example is if you took all the best CrossFitters and you put them in weightlifting, you put them in gymnastics, or you put them in running or swimming, the thing they would all do best in is weightlifting. Like, they're not going to excel in the running or excel in this one. But, like, if you just had them in, like, a weightlifting competition or just in a swim competition or just in a running competition or just in a gym, is what my point is. They're going to do better in weightlifting than anything else, and that's the majority. There's always going to be outliers, but that's always been my problem. Is then the programming should be, the gymnastics should be up, the running should be up. If you want to create this really CrossFit athlete, and I feel like it all started back in maybe like the third or fourth year of the games when it started going on ESPN and people started coming over from the Globo gyms and were like, hey, I want to do this. I can do this. And you got these big dudes that could lift a ton of weight into the sport, and they would get somewhat of an engine, and then they would do pretty well. And so it all of a sudden you started seeing, oh my God, this guy can snatch, 300 pounds. This guy can do this. And it started going that route a little bit when I was like, but how far can he handstand walk? How well can he? So I like when Castro throws in all that stuff.
I agree. And I think that's the point I was trying to make. It's like, the more the Masters programming deviates from the individuals, what Castro actually programs, because his is amazing programming that is super well balanced, I think. The more they deviate from that in the Masters, the more they deviate from the true chest of fitness.
Yeah.
And that's because it's really supposed to be balanced. And as we get older, it hurts to not have the, pegboard, pistols, legless rope climbs, things like that would really, they put that in the individuals to really weed out those who aren't versatile enough to do it all.
Yeah, but do you think, I was just going to say, do you think it's because people at that age, a good amount can't do some of those things, and some of those things can knock them out?
Yeah, I mean, that has to be it. It's a bummer.
Yeah.
It's a bummer for me, but, I'm still happy. And again, I don't want to take away from this, like, man, I love CrossFit. I love what they're doing. I love that we even have a Masters. I'm super thankful for that. I just, like, in an ideal world, I would love to see, I've not gotten ever to do pistols. I think one time maybe NorCal Masters had a pistol in theirs one time. I was actually looking forward to, I was supposed to go to West Coast Classic, and there they were going to have more of the maybe legless rope climbs. They were going to have pistols, at least it said in the brochure. So I was and muscle ups, that kind of thing. Kind of disappointing this year. They didn't have any muscle ups. They even scaled down the bar muscle ups to chest to bar in our online qualifier. So I was kind of bummed about that, because they typically have, they'll give us muscle ups in the online qualifier. They won't scale them.
I think it'd be really funny if they did it, the programming that you like, and all of a sudden they're like, well, there's only one guy that finished every event.
Well, isn't that what we're supposed to celebrate, though? How long can we maintain this fitness? That kind of thing.
Well, that's
totally
why,
agree with
to me,
they have to program for everyone. Yep, it's okay.
Glassman is kind of anti-games now. He's pulled away from it. He's more about the health and fitness aspect of CrossFit, and his thing is, CrossFit. The games is not what CrossFit is. It's an aspect of CrossFit. But I think that the Masters athletes are what CrossFit is, and I think if you can show me guys that like you, that are living healthy, that are still strong, that are still active, that still get to live that life of vitality and be training and competing like this using CrossFit to get there, then that's who we should be celebrating. I mean, like I love Fraser, I love Froning, I love all those guys. That's great. But you're 24 years old. I could do crazy shit like that too. Not like those guys, but I mean, we were all athletes. We all could. I could go out and drink for 16 hours and get up and run a marathon. You have a body to do that. The fact that you're able to do what you do because of CrossFit is what needs to be celebrated, because that's what everyone should aspire to. That's the health and fitness. That is, hey, living a long, healthy life where you're able to still, I'll bet you can still jump on a dirt bike and ride it no problem.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. On occasion. I'm actually shopping right now for a dual sport. I have an SV Twin Suzuki. It's like a crotch rocket type thing,
right,
but really good handling. But that's in the shop right now, so I'm without a bike, and I'm thinking about trading that in for a dual sport. But
what do you like an enduro bike?
But like an enduro bike, that kind of thing. Maybe something I can take on the dirt and ride in the road occasionally. Because it's too dangerous on the road.
When you race, the road's terrifying. When you rode dirt bikes, what do you ride?
I had a CRF 450R Honda.
Okay.
And when I started racing, it was a YZ250.
Okay.
So then it was right around that time when I was racing that they evolved into the 4-stroke.
I was just going to say 2-stroke to 4-stroke.
So, yeah.
So you rode 2-stroke for a while?
I did, yeah. Yeah, that was my main one that I raced with, yeah.
Have you seen any of these electric bikes?
Yeah, they were coming out right around that time, but they were just so inconsistent then.
Yeah.
That people weren't, people weren't doing it. So
they're pretty amazing, though.
Oh, pretty amazing, yeah.
There was a guy in the, I think it was a Red Bull competition, that straight race.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Where they just had to get beginning to end over like a whole straight race of whoops. And one of the guys racing it was on an electric bike.
Yeah. I'll bet they're dialed in right now.
Yeah.
And it's not as extra heavy enough, it used to be when they first came out, they were bulky and too heavy, and you had to strip it all out. In order to race.
Takes half the fun of revving the engine, though, and
making
crazy, all that noise.
Yeah, crazy, yeah. So, but back to your point on the CrossFit health thing, I just wanted to say this one thing, because I really think that, and I've never heard, them articulate their position that they don't not supportive of the game. So I don't really know all that. Maybe you've heard more than I have, but I just like to think of it as the games. If you look at the games athletes and even the regional athletes and how it, and unfortunately that's being taken over now by Loud and Live, and they're doing a great job kind of filling that gap. But think about all those athletes there, and then the ones that they're training with at their gyms, who we don't have to worry about getting chronic disease. Because if at the end of the day it's all about preventing chronic disease, here you and I are, in our various age groups, we're fighting chronic disease by being motivated by these competitive events and things like that, and following and doing that stuff. So, do you know what I mean? So I think they underestimate the value of everything that they're doing. Anyway, I just wanted to say that.
I get you, and it's a discussion I have 1,000 times on the show and off the show that I think, and this is just my theory, and just of everyone I've talked to and everything I've seen, it's just a theory.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be crazy. But I think CrossFit as a whole, the CrossFit Games cost a lot of money. And when they were looking at their books, they're like, what makes us money and what costs us money? And that cost a lot of money. And it was regionals, games, everything. And it wasn't making a lot of money. Where they made their money was in affiliates and in certifying. And so that there's more people out there that just want to get healthy and want to get in shape than people that want to go compete in
Yes.
a sport. And so they said, what are we? Are we a sport? There's not that much money. There's money in health and fitness. And so they I mean, this is just me. They could come at me for this, but they went where the money was. And I also believe that a lot of people saw CrossFit the games and didn't realize what goes into it to be what you are, to be the level you are, to manage your injuries, to rehabilitate, to the knowledge you have to have, and the amount of training and time and everything to be an elite level. It's another world. It's not the same thing. And so what happened was a lot of people just saw it and thought it was like football, like I'll be good. And there were a lot of injuries. So on a PR level, the games was giving CrossFit a bad name because people were getting injured.
Yeah, they were preoccupied with, I got you. Yeah,
and then CrossFit was synonymous with injury. Because you look at we sit here and talk, and my elbow, your shoulder, this.
Yeah.
But we're also like, so would some guy, I was in a fraternity in college, and people always said, oh, fraternities, they're date rapists, and kids die at their parties from drinking too much, and blah, blah, blah. And I always used to say, that happens everywhere in college. It's just easy to label it because it's fraternities. And you go, oh, that's the fraternities. Because you don't go, oh, that's the off-campus housing dormitory. There's no label for it. So people get injured in every single sport. It's just so easy to go, CrossFit injures you.
Gotcha. But exactly what happened,
And so that happened. So they said, let's push this to the side. It'll always go on. It's an animal of itself. It's not going to stop. But we'll focus on health and fitness. But I think
it's great. Yeah.
But I think they need to focus on you guys. Like I just, to me, like I swear to God, you're way more impressive to me than Matt Frazier. If Matt Frazier can still do this at 63, then I'll go, okay, which he probably will. And that'll be great. Yeah. But right now, you like guys like you, or you blow me away.
That's great.
Yeah. I mean, people need to, if they, I can't implore upon you enough. Go on and just watch like him do one workout. I'm talking to the listeners right now. Just watch and you'll go, wow, I'm a pussy. I mean, I'm like watching you not take breaks. And I just saw you do it was the 1 to 10, 10 to 1 of deadlift and toes to bar.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Up at Comtrain last year.
And you just the amount of breaks you're taking. And I'm looking at, because I've done that workout, and I'm like, okay, this is where my abs started cramping. Where I had to take a little walk.
It was a fun workout. I like that one.
Yeah. What's your favorite workout?
Yeah. They call that the Joker. Oh, my favorite workout is anything with muscle ups.
Yeah, you're pretty good at those.
Probably muscle ups, handstand push-ups workout. I don't know if I have a favorite. Of course, Fran is one of my all-time favorites.
What's your fastest Fran time?
4 minutes, something like that.
Really?
4 minutes. Yeah,
I would think you could do it faster.
Yeah, I probably never got the chance to do it in competition until last year, and they actually did. Remember, they did the one in the open. I think it was in the open. It was 30. They started with 30, then 27, then 21, 15, 9.
Yeah.
And thrusters and pull-ups, and that was one of my favorites all time. I finally got to do Fran, and it really went well. It was like I did it like in 9 minutes, and I think I won by like 2 minutes.
That's a long workout.
Which is like the best I think I've ever. The toughest.
That changes the stimulus though. I've done heavy Fran where you do it with like 135.
Yeah, I've done that before,
and that changes it completely because it's not as bad in a way because you're taking you're not going at that speed like you are at Fran, and that speed in Fran is what knocks you out.
It does, you're almost done. It's quick.
Yeah, with 135, you're dropping the bar a lot more because you have to take the breaks to be able to go through it. But Fran to me, I used to think I was good at it one night I got the cough and it wouldn't go away.
Oh yeah, Fran lung.
And what's it called?
Fran lung.
Yeah, I woke up with it the next day. and it was still going on, and I was like, I'm done. I'm never going that hard again. I forget. I've been doing this show for almost 10 years or something. And we've talked to so many like doctors and experts about Fran, and somebody finally explained it to me. I can't believe I can't remember what it was, but what is actually happening in your lungs that creates that cough. And I'll just say this. I forget what it was, but it's not good. It's not a good thing.
It's like what we used to do when we in training in track, we'd be running a mile or the 400, you know, and you're just like, you get the lung thing, you know, so it's like it happens. Yeah. Crazy.
The 400s were the worst. Yeah. Or 800s, 400s or 8s.
Yeah. Or 600s.
So what do you think? Do you think are you going to be doing an online CrossFit Games?
No, man, I hope not. I would miss it. I would miss it this year, but it's, who knows? I think we're going to get past this quicker than what people are saying right now. Yeah. A lot of people are saying, it's going to drag out to August, July, that kind of thing. But I don't know. We're supposed to peak, at least in Tennessee, we're supposed to peak middle of this month. So like 11 more days, something like that.
I heard, but I thought I read that Tennessee was a little bit behind because the social distancing didn't start there till later.
It could be. Well, we actually started pretty soon. Like when they closed dental offices nationwide, and they did it. We hadn't even had one registered case in our area, so we really didn't need to do that. So we probably were pretty proactive in Tennessee. Louisiana got hit hard because of the Mardi Gras because they didn't close the Mardi Gras. So. But Tennessee, it's happening in Nashville. But I was looking at a graph where it graphs like what COVID cases are and then how many hospital beds they still have, and they're still doing fine. There's still plenty left. So,
well, that's good.
But the next 2 weeks are going to be the most critical. We'll know a lot more once we get through this week and then the following week and see. Hopefully we'll get past it.
Here's what I don't understand. You guys you're not an essential.
I know. I think it's ridiculous. But, I think it's ridiculous to a degree. I think there's a way that implementing just a couple of changes, because we're already super infection control conscious. Mm-hmm. All they would have to do was implement a few changes, which we did, which we started doing anyway. As soon as we heard, we started doing that. Okay, don't congregate in the waiting room. We had chairs outside. Right. We had patients wait in their cars so that we wouldn't have people, in the waiting room. We're already doing the infection control in the rooms. We're already using high-speed evacuation, which takes care of most of the aerosol. There's other devices that we use in the mouth that can take care of the aerosol spray. So I think they just wanted to be safe. And I think what one of the guys that's in charge, in government said, we want to get through this and say, oh, wow, we overreacted. That would be the best case scenario. Do you know what I mean? Like, in other words, we overreacted. It didn't get out of control like it did in Italy or New York, and we handled it, pretty well with less, fatalities than we would have.
Well, so, let me ask you this: what happens if somebody cracks a tooth? What are they supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're allowed to go in for emergencies only. Okay. So they even define what our emergencies are able to be. So if somebody's got a cracked tooth, we get them in. And there's specialists also that are. That we can refer to if we need to, of an endodontist, oral surgeon, that I can refer to if I need to. So,
does it make you nervous though, having to? We've been locked up here at my house up in the mountains. Yeah. We've been locked up since March 10th. I got back from Australia and I was like, lock it down. Like,
oh my gosh,
and I go on the trails behind my house and stay in my house and with my two kids and my wife. I just don't want to mix with anybody till this stuff's gone and over.
Yeah. And maybe I should be more worried. I'm not too worried. We're still going out, when we have to the grocery store, that kind of thing. But we're really minimizing things for sure as well here. Even though we're not as locked down as you guys are, I don't think. But we're trying to keep it under control. And I don't know. You go to some of these stores and it's like, do people even know that there's a virus going around?
Yeah.
In some places, they're just oblivious. So we'll see.
Well, it's been awesome talking to you. It's been an honor. And I look forward. I hope there is a games this year, and I hope to see you winning it this year. You're at the top of the age group this year, right?
Yeah, I am.
Oh no, it's 60 to 64.
Yeah, but see, I will be 65 next year, so this is my last. This is my 5th year in this age group. So, I mean, even to just make it to be where I'm at in the online qualifier so far, right now.
Where are you right now?
I actually came in 3rd.
Okay.
So we don't have video approval yet, but hopefully that's never been a problem. But we got to get past that, and then it's official. So we'll see.
Well, yeah,
without muscle up, I was really happy with how it went.
Well,
crazy.
I'm impressed, and and I think all the listeners will be. Check him out. What's your Instagram again?
Dave Hipp.
Dave Hipp.
Dave Hipp. Yep.
So HIPP.
Yep.
Okay. At Dave Hipp, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Tell Heather I said hello.
Hey, we'll do. Tell Hunter I said hi. I met him at the games last year.
Oh,
if you get to see him, tell him I said hi.
We've kicked him out of Malibu. He's not allowed into Malibu. I swear to God, he is. He went to Denver and he was all over, and he wanted to come home. And the property he lives on, the owner of the property was like, "Don't come back."
Is he still in Colorado?
Yeah, he's in Colorado. And I said, don't worry, Hunter's not going to bring you COVID. He's going to bring like syphilis or gonorrhea or something. That's what you really have to worry about with him. But so he's still stuck in Denver. Yeah. But hey, congratulations on all your success. Okay. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thanks, I'll be watching. Thanks a lot. Thanks for doing the show.
Hey, thanks, man. Great to meet you.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see you.
Take care, man. All right, buddy. See you.